Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You know, listen to the Mind of an Terry's Moon, Flight boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, I want to do a video about area codes. Yeah, the code to your area. Now, everything is revolved around numbers and coding, because this is how, you know, people keep track of things. Now, you need to know that, period. Anytime you want to number something, anytime you want to, It's no reason to number anything unless you're trying to keep track of what's actually going on. So this is when you get the computer system, you look at the matrix and everything. This is in software. This is how software keep track of what's actually going on. This is how, when we look at the general consensus of things, this is how we keep track on what's the general consensus of concepts. You have the general conceptions of religion, the society, of the economics, of even when you go vote. You know, whoever get the most votes, right? That's who win the president election. So this is letting you know, numbering, tallying, adding, addition, you know, subtraction. This is all dealing with keeping track on what's specifically going on. So you know, you have to understand this from a higher realm, a higher frequency realm, which is, this is where these things are derived from, or created from, based out of space. So we know space is all space, is space within space. But the smaller of a being you are, the more of the space you're just gonna be able to perceive. You're not going to be able to. You only could separate the space based upon your dimension, or your density, or your perspective. So based upon your, this is why it's important to know astrology, because it's how you know the body and what location of this body you are in, or this location of realm that you are in. So when we talk about elements like fire, water, earth, air, people need to understand that we shouldn't be calling earth Earth, because Earth is an element. You know what I'm saying? So if it is called Earth, it's just a planet that's carrying out the characteristic and traits of that element. I've been saying this for years, the same way Saturn. This is why astrologers describe Saturn the way they describe it, because it's the energy of it's the elemental energy of Earth. So you know, Earth is part of the Titan beings, the Titan kind. So when we say kind, we are in mankind right now. We're no longer in Titan kind. The Titan kind still exists, but your existence is mankind. Mankind is kinds are ages. So you are a kind, a version of this thing, but it's just an age. And how you look at age based upon what kind you are, y'all perceive it as time or a time scale. But that's specifically what an age is. So when you hear something being a kind, that's a spiritual evolution, a spiritual group coming in from a specific time, a specific age. That's what that means. And when we say time and age from a spirit realm, not your physical truth, I'm Archangel Uriel. From a spirit realm, a time and age is just the vibrational realm taking, which is the shapeless, formless realm, but it's moving in a way that you would perceive when it takes the shape and form. It will be outlined in that way, but it's moving in a way of taking a shape and form. You see what I'm saying? So for an example, something that's always shapeless and formless is always moving, right? So when you look at a specific time and frame of it, a snapshot of that movement, right, you can draw out a shape and form out of that shapeless and formless. So just think about that snapshot, a spirit wanting to take that body, that feeling, that emotion, that resonation, that experience, and wanting to rotate in that body to only experience that body. So it has to, so to sustain that body, it has to keep adding or keep from other influences of the travel of that location. Now that location ended up becoming a body of itself that the spirit is inhabiting, and it's traveling through other locations that's doing the same thing by other spirits, right? And based upon those relative relationships angling with each other, it's expanding, creating more space, but also being able to add more body to its body in order to sustain itself through that travel. This is what you're doing, and everybody's doing as a spirit. So for the most part, this add-on, right? This add-on is basically like technology, information, you know what I'm saying, durability to be able to sustain yourself more within this travel. So now once we get into the area, that's the area of this body. So when we look at space, there's different beings on every level. You know what I'm saying? This is why we have to understand how to understand and separate, but then bring back together. But understand things are separate because they are separate. They're offsprings. They're not the same way you're not the same as your children, but your children is a piece of you. So they are offspring of you, but they are not you. See what I'm saying? Same way, this is why y'all can't find who was the first fucking human. Y'all retards. Now, as far as a spiritual group, right? A spiritual grouping. Same way you are a spiritual grouping that came here now because you are able to resonate and relate and have same concepts with a bunch of different other beings who took in the same type of shapes and forms and wanted to inhabit those vessels as spirits. So y'all came here, y'all had similar travels as spirits and experienced similar rotations with each others and created similar bodies, which you're doing now. This is what I'm talking about. So when you see other spiritual paths, other spiritual beings that's here on other evolutionary paths, that's what I mean by that. They may take other different forms. Bacteria, different, until they evolved and take a lot of different shapes and forms here, but that's the developed information that they have as spiritual travels. Their spiritual travels and the information that they have developed, and they might be very new here, but they may be very experienced in somewhere that you may be going. You don't know. You see what I'm saying? Now, based upon the idea of that thing. This is why an animal or a fish or something like that or a bug may have certain technologies that you may not have, that you can learn from them, because wherever they're from is somewhere you haven't been yet. So when you go there, where they from, you will be the fucking weakest link. You know what I'm saying? But you was here before them. So they're the weakest link here. But that don't mean that the information that they have is some information that you still don't know. Same way and vice versa. Everything is based upon location, space. You have to understand this shit. That's why anybody who hate on astrology, anybody who dived into their doctrines and shit like that, or have their concept about astrology based upon what they think the indoctrinations of it, because they haven't dived into it themselves to understand frequency vibrations and how to decipher certain things, and to understand where certain things was created that may have just be the only thing that's closest to something else. Even though if this may not be right, this person, place, or thing or concept still may be closer to this actual thing than the other thing. That's what I mean by it. So as far as astrology, that's closer to a lot of shit than a lot of other shit that y'all into. So to understand this, you will understand how to perceive things. So getting to area coding, we know we getting back to numbers, and we know things is getting controlled by certain frequency vibrations. So as far as your area code, this is the location that you're at, and this is the frequency vibrations that's migrating there. So based upon the numbers that we have created, based upon our perception and the space that we are at and how we could perceive it based upon the beings we are in, we gave it shit like what? Numbers, letterings, and sigils and things of that nature. So for the most part, when you got an area code and based upon we're lesser beings, lesser spirits taking lesser vessels here, we're lesser star systems, right? We're going to control certain things based upon how we can or keep track of things the best way we know how. So we keep track of cities based upon the coding we give it and based upon the numbers we give them. Now all these come from somewhere. We're just utilizing these things and creating it the best way we know how to perceive it. So we give it a number, let's say 3. My area code is 330. So this is correlated to 6. So this is a 6. So we know 3. This is 3 is a surroundings. It's a third person point of view, right? So it's able to look outside but look in at the same time. It's the 360, and it's your surroundings. So this is a person who's able to look at both sides of a situation but not get lost into picking sides, and able to still be an individual also. So I just broke down the numerology of it, and the dimensional being of it will be all the physical forms you can look at right now, right? And inhabit as a body. You can't perceive the planets yet. You just perceive it as a 4th dimensional vessel. So that you're learning right now to take these vessels. This is why you're learning things about time and location and space. Because that's you being in the body, a 3rd dimensional body right now, developing enough fourth dimensional information to be able to take these vessels. You see what I'm saying? But you being a third dimensional being, anything you're consciously aware of that's on the plateau of you, and things you're higher than, and things that have to look up to you, you either took these bodies already and you're on an evolutionary scale that's higher than them. So this is all things in the third dimension, all the third dimensional vessels you can inhabit, all things in your surroundings that you have learned already, but you may need to detach from. AKA, you see an animal, you may have already been in that vessel as a spirit. So you're here to detach from a lot of those experiences. So if you are a bitch or a snake or a pig or a whale, you see what I'm saying? Or a leech, you're here to detach from if you're a human now, you're here to detach from a lot of those experiences and vibrations, because you have a lot of those experiences and vibrations still with you, because you already was one of those things. But for you to be in a human right now, you're spiritually involved. So you took a higher evolved shape and form. You created a bigger brain to inhabit, to move through as a soul in this vessel. So to vibrate and receive experiences now. So as a third dimensional being, you're here to shed a lot of those lesser experiences, and you're here to add a lot of higher ones, which is time, space, location, planet, and star consciousness. So even if you're listening to me right now, Archangel Uriel, you're here to understand that. So this is a third dimensional being. Right now, that's all the influence, frequency, vibrations that's correlated to just 3. Now add 2 3s, that's a 6. That's a frequency. That's a person's spirit becoming an individual. That's second dimension as a soul, and being able to move through a body. That's third dimension. So that's a person, a spiritual person that wants to do that. Right now, they get to control more bodies. That's the third dimension. Now, more perception is a fourth dimension. Now, but like when you look at a 6, right? That's a spirit becoming an individual, creating possibilities to get lost or sustain itself within the bodies that it takes. That's a third dimensional being. Now, a person who has 2 of these will be a star, a 6th dimensional being. So you skip 4, 5th, and go to 6, which will be something like a star or other suns that you see. You know what I'm saying? And with these stars, right, they have perception to control the surroundings. So this is a judge, a being that's able to judge the surroundings of an individual. See what I'm saying? So you are an individual that have the power to control other individuals. So this is why we call celebrities stars, because these individuals have the impact or the influence to control other individuals, or have other people to see things in their way, or they have enough energy to be seen, to be consciously aware. They light shine bright. See what I'm saying? So the things that they're doing physically in this realm as light bodies shine light, and their soul is in the shapeless, in the astral realm, the realm you can't see, the spirit, the individual spirit vibrating is what's enabling them to do that. So if they have a big soul or small soul, they're able to utilize their source, utilize their vessel and their light, and emit crazy light in the world. But your soul has the joy in the body. See what I'm saying? You could get lost and not resonate and lose yourself and not even be yourself and just be dormant somewhere as a physical body, because you're not emitting your soul. You're not, your soul is what help emit light. You know what I'm saying? When the frequency vibration come together, boom, it creates energy. So your soul, your individual spirit, right? The better you put that into your body, into all the cells in your body, and blast off life, you emit light. See what I'm saying? You emit motherfucking light. Now, now when we talk about area codes, for the most part, now number it. Now, like I said, my area, I'm doing an example right now. My area code is 330, but like I said, that's a star. A star is that's what the sun is actually doing. But the sun is physically doing that in the real realm, not in the realm of reality that actually goes on. We're just playing out a small portion of that. So when you see stars and celebrities, you're going to see many stars and celebrities, because we're playing out smaller portions of that. But once you be able to take one of those bodies, you're going to be in the realm of reality of a bunch of different motherfuckers like that. And it's the same thing again. But that's another video. But for the most part, now, as getting into as far as, fuck, this ant's coming from? Where are these ants coming from? I have some chips up here. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, I be getting attacked by just fucking weird shit. Like, this is a clean ass table. Unless how the fuck? I know I'm in a basement right now, but where the fuck? There was like 3 ants, 3 motherfucking little ants. What the fuck? But I just cleaned the motherfucker. But for the most part, yeah. See, they took me off. You see, the spirits in that, it was spirits in those motherfuckers before I killed them. But for the most part, now when we look at O is going into a hole. That's a circumference. That's a circle. That's a realm of reality. So 330, right? This is stars in a hole. A star in a hole. You know. Now this means that it's a lot of people may shine bright, but they're not. Is in a hole, so you're not going to be seen nowhere. So when you look at my city, Youngstown, Ohio, there's really no celebrities here. No one is seen. So there may be people who vibrate high, people who got a lot of potential, but don't have the right mind state or not consciously aware of the right things outside of this hole. So we call it Ghost Town. We call it a bunch of shit here. This was where the mafia came back a lot of times. This is where a lot of niggas from Harlem came and sold a lot of motherfucking dope here. Right through here. Akron, Toledo, and Cleveland, and a little bit of Columbus and shit. Youngstown. So, you know, a lot of motherfuckers came through here on some dope shit and on some mafia shit. We call it Ghost Town because there's nobody here. Because ever since the steel mills closed, there's no money here. So the economy is low. So there's a lot of, you can watch all my music videos, 9 times out of 10, they're all at abandoned houses and things of that nature. There's like, every neighborhood is either abandoned houses or a big ass field that everybody can play football in because there's nobody living in those houses, so they got tore down. So for the most part, you know, downtown is a piece of shit. So everything is in a hole. So it takes a strong, people have to understand their own potential and move up out of this hole in order to have their light be shown, their starness be seen. So right now, me being a star, but me being living here, I have to utilize other means. But you know, by me being Uriel, mind of an Antares moon, that's the fixed star of Uriel, and things of by me emitting so much energy and light and star, and then even my sun sign being in the fixed star of in the Draco constellation, I'm gonna find a way to be seen in some way, shape, or form. I just may manifest a lot of situations in my life of frustration and a lot of not being able to get from point A to point B based upon the hole that I'm in. And I may have to do more extreme things just to get out of that circumference, that hole. See, it's not good for the 6 to be next to a 0 or 2 3s to be next to a 0, because 3 comes from 0. So it's like a baby, which is a 3, a spirit becoming an individual soul. Then once the baby takes its first breath, right, it's able to inhabit whatever spirit or soul was going to inhabit. But as far as the body getting made, that's from the cell, the sperm cell, and that cell. Everything is doing that in life, and you pick these as spiritual bodies. But at the same time, for you to fully congest all the spiritual, you have to add on, like I said, employees. Everything get added on. All of them is not really you, but they're a part of you, but it's not really you. Again, like I said, your finger is a part of you, but it's not really you. You got this from a whole other location in the astral realm, dealing with a whole bunch of other people that you felt like you need to do this to sustain yourself in this realm. So you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, getting into the situation where you're in a situation where you're adding pieces to you as like your first initial spirit. A lot of times took the first body, you know what I'm saying, the first cell, first blood cell, or inside of a being, or the first fluid, the first thought that your dad had, and if you resonated with it as a spirit, the fluid that he made in his head to go into that pleasure, whatever like that, boom, you took that first cell, and then you go through his whole body as a bunch of fluids, but you transform there same way you're doing outside of this now. But you're still doing that. Now that spirit then been through so many experiences and add on so many other body parts to it, that spirit, that first cell that spirit took you as a body. It might have been a sound that you had to ride as a spirit. Then you rolled the fluids. Then you went to your father. That first speck of fluid, idea, concept in your father's head. As a spirit, you took that as a body. Now, you start in that world, you start to die and transform thousands and trillions and eons of years, but you start knowing motherfuckers and start having shared experiences. You see what I'm saying? To the point that once you got to this world, right, You like a million constellations, right? Now, as a spirit, you still controlling all these motherfuckers, but because that first body you took as a spirit, that's the most evolved, the most experienced one. You see what I'm saying? So it's able to control all the employees, that all the other fluids that it attached to it. So, you know what I'm saying? So I say the first body you took in this energy realm, the first body you resonated with, let's say, was a sperm cell. So as a spirit in the frequency vibration realm, that was the first light that you're gonna see, that you think you see in the astral realm, in the shapeless, formless realm. The first light sound that you see to be like, that's a body. Oh, I need to take and go into that realm. That's a sperm cell. That's why you need to watch Look Who's Talking. That movie, excellent movie. You can just watch the intro. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing you took. You know what I'm saying? So that's the body. You see the sperm cells going into the mother after they have sex, and then the sperm cells looking for the egg cells. They're already talking. That's the first body. You're already a spirit in the body at that point. You see what I'm saying? Now, once you do all that, you get experienced here. Right now, as a baby, now say for an example, my area code is 330. That's like a 6, a star being in a hole. That's like, and never coming out. So that's like a star never being able to shine. But when you just go to the 30, let's say 30, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm going to be on my way to get into that age. But for the most part, when we talk about 30, that's the 3, the triangle, a triangle type of person. That's a spirit. The spirit was already born. Now it became an individual spirit, which is a soul. It vibrated in certain, and went into its own space, and went rainbow water, shapeless and formless, astral realm. Now it needs a body, right? So the body it takes is the energy realm now. So we go from frequency vibration to the energy realm. Now you pick a body that was created by, and you created it by things that preceded you. So you look at it as parents or elements or minerals and molecules and atoms and shit like that. But this was the shit that preceded you here as forms of bodies for your spirit to take, right? You have to bounce off something. So once you boom, you go there now as a body. You come here as a body. Now this look at that body. Now the 3. Now look at a 0 being next to it. That's it being in a hole, never coming out of a hole. Never coming out the hole. So that's the frequency vibration that I'm gonna have to resonate with. So a person like me, now I'm a number 9 person. So I'm able to resonate and have full wisdom and knowledge over shit like this. That's why I'm like the teacher in this ratchet ass area in my life. Like I know how to jump in and jump out. See, the key ain't to detach. The key is to know what's actually going on, but know how to make yourself a part of it better and not get lost in it and make it overwhelm you. Know how to use it. I'm a spirit using a body. So these realms of realities is lesser bodies for me to use and technologies. I'm going to use these motherfuckers to the best of my benefit. So I'm not going to get lost into no doctrines or no religion aspect, or no religious aspect, into thinking that, oh, I'm not supposed to use this like this, or I'm not supposed to use this, or if I got too much of this like this, I'm supposed to get so much of it. What the fuck? Then you putting your spirit in the hell. Your spirit ain't come here for that. You need to remember that your spirit wanted to come here. This ain't no situation with religious people tell you that someone trapped you here, someone put you here. No, for your spirit to be here, your spirit accomplished something. Your spirit accomplished being able to experience the creation that is creating for itself. Now, it's your fault you creating some goddamn bullshit, but the bullshit that you get lost in for so many eons and so many years and so many transformations and bodies, then you know what I'm saying, it's kind of makes sense that you could be frustrated with yourself. Because that's all it is. When you tired of something, that ain't nothing but you being frustrated with yourself and you wanting to change. That's your spirit. That's how your spirit come to you. Physically, it may just play out as in you just thinking things coming as it go, or you don't know if you coming or going, or you think in situations this is being hard on you or things. That's what you think going on physically, but really spiritually, your spirit is just like, okay, man, I'm tired of this road we're going down. It's time to switch the fuck up. That's what's really going on. So that's what you really need to understand. So, as far as your area code, it's good to know your numerology, and it's good to know your spiritual growth and your spiritual path, because you could be entangled into a time and frame frequency, which is the area and location that you're at, right? And that experience may be what your spirit resonated with in order to, you know, remind itself that it needs to do something else. And whatever you reminded yourself and forced yourself into doing, that was actually the information that you needed to develop to actually experience what you really wanted to experience here. But a lot of people close that off because they're lost in the physical, but for them and lost into the shapes and forms that's going on within this location, and not understanding that if you feel the frequency vibration that you need to get up and separate from these people, places, and things, then that's what your spirit feel that for a goddamn reason. Your spirit feel detached from where it actually needs to be. But you're disconnected to the shape or form. You're lost into the physical. The physical is just here as an illusion and light and shows, and they play out as representations of what you need to be experiencing and what you need to be detaching from, and what you have already experienced. That's all the physical is here for. So the physical situation or the vessel that you took here is to show you that, okay, this is what your spirit is tired of, or this is what your spirit want to see. Now, don't get lost into thinking that you are the physical. And you got spiritual people out here who teaching that. They find so many ways to make you think that everything is one. Everything is just the spirit, to the point that the spirit forgot how to get back to that world. So it knows nothing else but the physical world. And then see, people misunderstand because they think like, okay, well, the higher you go, you just go into somewhere else physical. If you go to hell, you still feel it. If you go higher, you still go into a firmament, you still feel it in the realm of reality. What you need to understand is that's all the energy realm. Now, when we talk about as a spirit, the spirit can either take a light or a heavy body. Now, light and heavy is far in between by the billions. You see what I'm saying? By the billions. The lighter the body a spirit know how to take. Now, if the spirit is brand new, right, then it's an accomplishment to take a heavier body. Now, once it get lost into taking all the heavy bodies, it start to get frustrated and be like, okay, I need to go back home. So the only way it could go back home is through the realms of realities, through the levels of life, through the motherfucking bodies. So it has to leave that heavy body, shed experiences and all that weight, go to a lighter body. Then boom, 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 boom. Then it get the lighter the body to the point that it doesn't have to take any body anymore. It can go home to the spirit realm. So when we talk about spiritual bodies, that's not attached to no shape or form. See what I'm saying? That's not attached to no shape or form. Once you get there, that's when you can start to expound on that experience. But to the point, when we get to this frequency vibration here, please, as teachers out there, don't correlate the physical realm. Don't be tying no less density thing to the spirit. Now, if you want to call these spiritual bodies or heavenly bodies or spiritual beings, that's another story. Yeah, we can call something that have a lot of control here, or something that's less in density here, or gas. We could call that a spiritual body, because for the most part, that might be a spiritual being that may be a spiritual being that know how to take that kind of body. Now, like I said, as new spiritual beings, baby spirits, right? They make an accomplishment taking a heavy body, right? Now, as so a lot of times baby spirits is like chaos, right? Because they inexperienced, so they create chaos within the astral realm and shapes and forms and transformations within everybody, because it comes to you as new ideas. So when you have a new idea, you share the old idea. That ain't nothing but like y'all call it small molecules or particles or shit like that. I call that baby spirits taking the smallest bodies, the smallest bacteria, particle, whatever, the smallest stars, whatever y'all want to call it, the smallest lights, the smallest sounds, molecule, whatever y'all want to call it. I call it those are all bodies that the smallest baby spirits are taking, and it create chaos. New ideas, new spirits from their astral travels where they came from in the astral realm. Then you have spirits that's lost in heavy bodies. Big ass planets and shit like that. They don't never want to leave. It's like the molecule on a larger level and they didn't expand it so big that they over you. You know what I'm saying? But see, spirits, you got some spirits that have went through a lot of experiences and took heavy bodies, right? But they understood how to lighten their load, so they know how to take lighter bodies again. So they end up knowing how to take all bodies in between. This is like the Lucifer spirit and all these other kind of spirits, and y'all God spirits, all y'all spirits and oversouls and shit, y'all motherfuckers like once you get into the oversoul life and become a moon or become an oversoul, a nebula, or asteroid or something, like once you become one of these, you'll start to understand that it's a broader life than what I'm talking about now. But Once you get into that and start becoming fifth dimensional beings like planets, and sixth dimensional beings is like stars, seventh dimensional beings, solar systems, eighth dimensional beings, which is galaxies, ninth dimensional beings, which is verses, you'll start to understand that you are just a life within a life. So all the life that you are seeing, all y'all together make up one life. But it's the same way with you. So you're gaining information now. Once your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable, smokeless flame, your spirit gain enough information, your spirit will be big. In the spirit realm, you'll be spiritually fat or skinny in the spirit realm. That do not play out in the physical realm. That do not play out with gases and lights and sounds. That do not play out in the energy realm. That only play out in the frequency vibration realm, astral realm. Now, once you get big there, you're able to create different vessels and take different bodies that preceded you already here, right? And be born. You have to be born into that realm of reality. Once you get birthed into that realm of reality, you're able to receive and experience all the information and situations and shapes and forms, and to develop and to add on to your spirit. But your spirit, individual spirit as a soul, always need a body to move through. See what I'm saying? And to receive the lights and influences of the elements that precede you there. And the element that you're building with your over your spirit, which is that you're inhabiting, which is your vessel, that's going to help you sustain, and you're always sustaining, so you could perceive more of the reception. Reception, same shit. That's why when people go to church, the reception, they're there to receive the motherfucking word, but reception, that frequency vibration, genuinely and truly come from what the fuck I'm talking about right now. See what I'm saying? That's where it comes from. So, you know, once you become big enough, you able to control a bunch of different mini-me's, mini-yous, and be able to say, I'm me. But really, it's just a bunch of us's as one. This is why there's really no such thing as one, like I said in my other video. But I'm going to close this off. This is getting back to area code. So, all this was to tell you at the end of the... Because this video kind of wasn't about, but it is. All that was the frequency vibration to let you know what area code is. It's letting you know the coding of your area. So understand numerology, and you will understand the coding of your area. Then you will be able to see if your coding, which is your astrological makeup, so know thyself and know your numerology and know your planetary alignment and your elements, then you will know if your system match up with the system of the space and location that you are in. And if that computer system don't match up with that computer system, then you could become a virus, or that system that you're in could become very toxic and become a fucking virus to your hardware, to your software, to the point that that's when you know you have to remove yourself from that area and location, because your frequency vibration mathematical system don't resonate with that mathematical system. So it don't matter what shape and form, person, place, or thing, family or whatever is aligned for you in that. If you get lost, you're just going to get attached and become a virus. Detach yourself from that program and plug yourself into if you got a Sega fucking Genesis, go get your ass a Sega Genie so you can stick that shit right on the top of the Sega, and then once you put Sonic and Knuckles on the top, and then you can motherfucking play and plug in Sonic 2 on the top. You could play Sonic 2 with Knuckles, or you could play Sonic 3 with Knuckles. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got the motherfucking power pack, you got the Sega Genie on the motherfucking on this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't fucking with me, nigga. Flight Bitch, goddamn air.